Are live, guys. Welcome to another live stream from the Men of High Value channel. My name is Joseph Darling. Today we are going to talk about the ultimate masculine principle. And to my astonishment, I have never covered this in a separate video on this channel before, to my knowledge. And that principle is patience. Let's look at what the dictionary says about patience, and in this video I will explain specifically why this is the ultimate masculine principle. Let's get going. The essential meaning of patience from Merriam-Webster Dictionary: the ability to wait for a long time without becoming annoyed or upset. Annoyed or upset. That sounds like someone emotional, doesn't it? Number 2, the ability to remain calm and not become annoyed when dealing with problems or with difficult people. She treated her students with great patience and humor. I don't have much patience for that kind of behavior. I'm not willing to accept that kind of behavior. Interesting. This one's especially interesting because people would think that as a masculine man, you would have certain standards and certain boundaries, and people are not allowed to act that way around me, blah, 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 blah. We'll get back to that. The ability to give attention to something for a long time without becoming bored or losing interest. Masculinity. We have a specific definition on our channel for that. The ability to control your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors independent of circumstance. That last part is crucial to understand. Independent of circumstance. There is something that happens to us, which is basically life, right? We go throughout our lives, things are going to happen to us no matter what, because there's 7.5 other, billion people on the planet, and they affect us. And we affect them, hopefully. Very often, the body and the brain is going to respond automatically all on its own as a victim to whatever is happening to us. This is like we're a baby, okay? If something happens to us, oh, I'm cold, oh, I'm hungry, oh, I'm ignored, or whatever it is that happens to us as a baby, we're going to have an emotional response. The emotional response will then carry on and will behave a certain way as a natural result. This continues, by the way. This is femininity in a nutshell. It's a it happens to me situation. There comes a time when you develop a sperm production and develop the process of becoming a man. There is no longer an excuse. Over time, the longer the time, the less excuse you have to not be able to control your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors independent of circumstances. Because you're developing a carefree mind. Okay, let me explain this to you again. What's different? This is really explaining the difference between men and women, actually. And I didn't even know that I was going to talk about this, but this is completely relevant to the subject. Women are unable to not care. They will always care. There is no exception to the rule. And if they're unburdened, they'll care so much about everyone else but themselves. Now that's a beautiful system. Because if they care about everyone else but themselves, which is what they do when they're feminine, that means that everyone around them will automatically be caring about them. But if a woman becomes burdened, she becomes masculine, that means that she still cares. But because she's burdened, she's in survival mode, there's no abundance. Now she only cares about herself. Okay, so it's not her fault that she only cares about herself. It is how she acts as a natural result to what is happening to her. She needs to survive. That's what her DNA and her hormones and her whole body is designed to do exactly that, to survive, to get through, to become unburdened at some point in the future, hopefully. Us men are different. Once we develop a sperm production, we now have started the trajectory towards masculinity. We now develop the option of being men, the option of growing up, okay? The option of not caring. Because when we were children, when we were feminine, we cared. We cared about what people thought about us. We cared about this, that, and the other, okay? The more feminine we are as men, the more we care about everything. So we can't prioritize. We don't prioritize wisely because we care about everything and what other people think and what's happening right now, and this happened to me, and we care. Men who get offended are feminine because they don't have the ability to not care, okay? So as a man, you grow the capacity to eventually not care. But it's not so that you don't care, right? Because you need to have that as a foundational aspect, that you do care about other people. It's not just about you, although it's very masculine to think about yourself, to set your life up, etc. But over time, you'll be able to choose to not care about things that need to not be cared about in order for you to care about the most important thing right now. So this is an aspect of prioritization. Prioritization is massively masculine. And if you manage to understand how this is linked to the principle we're talking about today, which is patience, you'll understand that men have the capacity for patience way more so than women, if we choose to. If we remain in our femininity, then we won't. What allows us this ability to not care is our reproductive system. Believe it or not, our reproductive system allows us to not care. Now, what is it about our reproductive system that has anything to do with patience? We have a sexual drive that makes it so that we have an instantaneous desire for sex, okay? We want it, and we want it now. We preferably yesterday, two years ago, when I became a teenager, blah, 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 okay? But that needs to be kept in check. That needs to be controlled. And a lot of boys, even men who are still boys, are not able to hold that in check. They're not able to control that, right? Women don't have it to that same degree unless they become burdened, unless they become masculine. The more masculine a woman is, the less self-control she'll have in that area. She'll become a man. Now you're beginning to understand why there's so much promiscuity in the world. Women are becoming men. And men are remaining in their femininity, which means that they're instantaneous as well. So both boys and women are in the now. Now, which is the exact opposite of patience. You see how this all is relatable? All of this has to do with masculinity. Masculinity allows you to be patient. Okay? It allows you to suffer for an extended period of time if that's the right thing to do. If that's what is according to your prioritized plan. So, not caring allows you to prioritize the correct things. Why? Why is this so important? Because you understand the past, the present, and the future. You're not just in the now. Femininity is in the now. It's what's happening right now. Why? Because of emotions. It is emotions. Why? Because emotions happen right now. Like, you don't know what you're going to feel 10 minutes from now. You don't know what's going to happen 10 minutes from now. You don't know what's going to happen 2 years from now, 10 years from now. You don't know what emotion is going to happen at any given time. The only emotion you understand and know is the one you're having right now. And maybe you managed to think of a memory of a time when you felt certain things, but that same emotion that you had at that exact time, you can't really relive it right now because it's a different now. The now, as a principle, is feminine because it's short term, it's shallow, it's just now. Like, do you know how many nows you'll have in your lifetime? If you become 96 years old, you'll have lived 3 billion seconds. That's it. 3 billion seconds, okay? It doesn't sound like a lot, does it? But it's a lot of seconds. And every second is a now. So if you understand that aspect, that every single now, it's femininity, it's emotion, it's happening. You got to use that now wisely if you're a man. If you're a masculine man, you put that now into the grand perspective of things. You take all of the lessons of the past. You've studied history, okay? Not history in general, but people's history. Okay, if you really want success, if you really want a fantastic life, if you really want this lifestyle, if you want this, that, and the other, you need to study those people that have that. That's studying history. Understanding what other people have done before to get the stuff that you want. They've had it. So what did they do? I need to know. That's a masculine principle, to study the past. If you're feminine, you'll only be thinking about the now. You'd be like, who cares about what happened in the past? It's like, I only care about what's happening to me right now. That's like ultimate femininity, where you have selfishness, you have some masculine aspect, and then you've got the tiny perspective of emotions. My emotions, okay? Selfishness, my emotions. You combine those two, horrible result. I love selfishness, okay? As long as you understand the grand scheme of things. You understand the past. You understand what happens when you do great things. You understand what happens when, what leads up to success, etc., 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 okay? You understand that picture. You understand the past. And because we understand the past, we now know what is required in order for us to get the future we desire. Okay, so you have the now, and the now is the only thing we have, right? But if you come to that now with the perspective of this is what happened in the past and this is what I can create for my future, then suddenly the now becomes a moment to improve the 3 billion or 2.5 billion or however many billion seconds you have left, to improve all of those. It's not just about this 1 second, although this 1 second is absolutely important. But the 2.5 other billion seconds are even more important because there are more nows than this just one now. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, masculinity takes all of those seconds into consideration, but not only your seconds, but the 7.5 billion people's seconds into consideration. Now we're beginning to think big, okay? That's a big number. You're gonna times 7.5 billion people times 3 billion seconds, right? That's a huge number. You need to look at it from that perspective, that you can change billions of people's lives. You can change billions of people's lives if you understand the grand eternal scheme of things. This is not a religious channel, but I'm going to mention to you that death is nothing but a comma. You have life, and then death is the comma, and then you have the afterlife. Okay? We don't know what happens in the afterlife, but I sure do know that there's some form of progression going on the other side. Because this life is a testing ground to see how we progress towards our potential. The more you progress towards your potential, the greater the afterlife is going to be. If you begin to observe things, if you begin to just look how things are evolving, and how time works, you begin to like, so if I progress amazingly in this life, then that actually gives me benefits in the next one. For sure. Okay? I don't believe necessarily in reincarnation. I just know that we're going to be progressing on the other side, so we better progress now. And the cool part about progressing in this life is that it actually literally gives us joy, bliss, and happiness despite what happens after this life. It's cool. Like, it's amazing to know that if you focus and do the things that you need to do on a consistent basis to get an exponential joy, bliss, and happiness in this life, you'll actually get it not only in this life, but you'll get it in the now. In the now. I'll give you my definition of patience, okay? I wrote this down just now. The ability to suffer greatly with a fantastic attitude for a long period of time to achieve a worthwhile goal. I'll repeat it. You can adjust this so it becomes shorter, but I put it together like this. The ability to suffer greatly with a fantastic attitude for a long period of time to achieve a worthwhile goal. Why? All worthwhile goals take time to accomplish. A masculine man understands this, and this is why he never ever gives up. He knows that he's going to achieve his goal at some point in the future, whether it's in this lifetime or in the next, it don't matter. I just know I will achieve my goal. This has everything to do with patience. This has everything to do with masculinity. I'm okay with suffering. I'm okay with rejection. In fact, I kind of love it. I love suffering and I love getting rejected as long as it's leading towards a worthwhile goal. So the goal is to figure out, what are your goals? What's your vision? What are you creating for yourself? What kind of lifestyle do you want? What brings you joy, bliss, and happiness consistently over a long period of time, every single now for the rest of your life and the next one? Let's figure out how to build towards that. One small step at a time. Guess what's going to happen? In the beginning, you're going to be feminine. You're going to be emotional about the journey. And the journey's going to suck because you're not used to rejection. You're not used to failing. Okay? And because it doesn't feel good in the moment yet. Over time, you'll get to the point where it feels fantastic to get rejected. It feels fantastic to push, the bar, at the gym, to the next level, the next level that you almost can't do, but you do it anyway because you know that you have to, and you push yourself to the next level. It's not comfortable. It's the opposite. But you have patience, which is the ability to suffer temporarily, right now, in this now, in order for me to get a worthwhile goal. Patience. It's the ultimate masculine principle. That deserves a t-shirt right there. A lot of them, man. Okay. Patience allows you to be grateful. Patience allows gratitude. Okay, now listen to this one. In order for you to get all of those huge goals that you want in your life, you have to connect somewhat and somehow to the universe. The universe is granting you those blessings, okay? You're simply tapping into the universal laws and principles in order for you to get the stuff that you want. Well, guess what? The universe expects you to be patient. The universe expects you to have an open mind, to be receptive to those blessings. How do we become receptive? Well, by massively working towards it while knowing that it's out there and it's waiting for you to attract it to you, okay? So the universe wants to give you whatever it is that you want. You choose. You get to choose whatever it is that you want. You simply have to be very specific about what you want and then know that you're going to get it, and then you add patience into the mix, and this is basically suffering, right? Which is work. That's patience. Because work in the now seems meaningless. It doesn't look like it's working. But it's working. You're literally taking steps, no matter how weird it is, no matter how much failure is happening. The mere fact that you're taking steps in the direction of your dreams, even though you're going the opposite direction, you'll find out very quickly that, oh, I'm going in the opposite direction of my dreams. Let me make a course correction and go the other way. Maybe this is a bit closer. It's still that way, but this is a bit closer than that way, right? And over time, you're developing, you're failing forward. And eventually, you're going to get closer and closer to being aligned with the direction of your dreams and goals. Eventually, you achieve your dreams and goals because you were open to receive it. And that's basically you believing that you can have it, right? If you don't believe, you're never going to get it because you're never going to take the steps necessary to get it. If you believe that you can get it and you know that you will get it, then you actually will begin taking massive action towards getting it. And then once you move towards it and you meet failure upon failure upon failure upon failure, what's the number one principle? What's the ultimate masculine principle? Patience. The fact that you're going to get it eventually if you do not give up. You cannot ever give up because that shows that you're a little girl. Little girls, they give up when things get hard because they're not designed to be burdened. Men were designed to be burdened, so they should never ever give up. You are not designed to give up. Keep going. You want to move towards power. You want to move towards masculinity. Guess what? You'll need patience because it's not going to happen overnight. You're not going to get ultimate masculinity in this lifetime. But you can progress towards it. That's your purpose in life. Masculinity. The ability to control your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, independent of circumstances. You need the ultimate principle called patience. I could mention all of these different examples, but you guys understand it. With trading, okay? I'm enjoying Bitcoin trading right now. I love it, okay? Guess what? I have to wait. I set up my trades, okay? Before the trades happen, I'm planning them out, and then I have to wait. Oh man, why can't I just jump in right now and buy and sell right now? You have to wait, man. The price needs to come to you, not you chasing the price. Just an example. Masculinity, you attract it to you. Eventually it will come. You could take this in relationships. How you treat other people, how you treat the waiter, how you treat, people who are yelling at you. Guess what? You need patience. If you become angry with them back and you escalate the situation, you're feminine. This is why anger is feminine and not masculine, because masculinity will have patience to actually know that the best solution when someone's upset with you and yelling at you is not to respond with anger or with yelling back or being sarcastic or whatever it is. Like, it's offensive, right? Well, guess what? It's feminine to actually retaliate or to escalate the situation. You don't want to do that. You want to de-escalate the situation. The best way to do that is through patience, through suffering, okay? Because your emotions want to do something else. Well, guess what? I'm just going to choose to be calm. I'm not going to get annoyed. I'm going to seek to understand what he's trying to do and what he's trying to say. And let's see if we can come to an agreement or a solution. That's masculine. And it requires patience. Okay? Same thing with health. Right? The long game. Are you taking care of your health? Patiently. It doesn't seem like it's working. It's working. Just keep doing what you're doing in order for you to become more and more healthy. I'll finish off right now what I wrote down. 4 principles of patience. Number one, if you have a short-term perspective and it's only the now that matters, you're going to end up in problems. Life is going to give you an exponential decline curve because everything in this life is designed to be attractive like right now. Like I want it right now. And I want instant gratification. I want instant food. I want instant sex. I want instant this, that, and the other. Everywhere. And that's what people fall into the trap of getting. And the more they enter into that instant gratification phase, the worse it gets. Okay? Because of addiction. Because of habit. Because of the way we're designed. Our brains, it creates pathways. And then it continues to use those pathways consistently over a long period of time. Those things in our brain are designed for us to get the good habits entrenched in us so much that it becomes a joy to do those habits in the long run. The good habits. Those were designed there for us to be joyful, to have bliss, and to have massive amounts of happiness. Number two, there's always a solution. Whatever problem you might have, there's always a solution. Always. That will bring you back to joy, bliss, and happiness. That will bring you back to gratitude. That will bring you back to a positive outlook on life. Number three, okay, this is patience we're talking about. Failing forward. If there's always a solution and you believe that, then you simply have to move towards those solutions. You have to take one step at a time towards getting towards the solution. You're not willing to take on suffering. You're not willing to be patient with the process. You're not willing to work towards it. You're not going to find the solution. Because that's how life has been designed. And number four is never, ever, ever, ever give up. It's not acceptable ever for a man to give up. Patience. Not only is it a virtue, it is the mother of all virtues. And virtue, there's nothing more masculine than virtue. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one.